Camera's rolling. Today is January 14th, and I will be interviewing Philip Bialowitz, the one of the few survivors of Sobibor. Here he is. Okay, I'm gonna start this now. Okay, you can begin. My name is. And speak, look into there. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Philip Bialowitz, B-I-A-L-O-W-I-T-Z. I am one of the last survivors of the extermination camp Sobibor.
Can you tell me where you were born?
I was born in Izbica, Poland, near Lublin, in a small city with approximately 5,000 population, 99% Jews.
Can you spell the name of the town, please?
Izbica was a vibrant Jewish community, a center of learning and culture.
Can you tell me the spelling of the name of the town, your town?
To spell the town?
Yes.
Izbica, I-Z-B-I-C-A. Izbica Lubelska. And to tell Izbica, we were a family we have six children, 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and my brother was in the leather business, manufacture leather, and Izbica was a very poor city. There was no industry. The houses were built from wood without any foundation. And my father used to give money to make packages to distribute for Shabbat for these poor people. And was no high educational schools in Izbica. So my parents sent the children to Warsaw to study.
How far was your town from Warsaw?
It was about 300 kilometers. Yes. But Izbica, during the war, was a way station for the Jews of Europe. Izbica became transports from all over Europe, from Germany, from Austria, from Prague, from Czechoslovakia. And they came from Germany, they came with their medals on the lapels from the First World War, but it didn't help him to survive. Izbica could not absorb so many people during the war because we didn't have the sanitary facilities. So typhus broke out, and many hundreds of people died from typhus, including the doctors. And Izbica was a central place where they sent all the transport to Belgrade from one side to the left and to the right and to Sobibor. The ghetto, they formed a ghetto, and it's very difficult to describe the life in Izbica. But my mother was shot in the cemetery in Izbica. And my father and one of my older sisters, they took to Sobibor. So when I was 16 years old, I became an orphan. And my older brother had to take care of me. He was my guidance. But when it came to 1943, after they made Judenrein, but then they formed the Judenstaat in 1943. They wanted to get all the Jews around from the forest to be in one place. So when the Warsaw Ghetto uprising started, they liquidated all the ghettos. And they came and they took us by truck to Sobibor. When I came to Sobibor, I thought to myself, this is my last destination. I don't have to suffer anymore. Here I will die in peace. But at the same time, I was only a teenager and I wanted to live. So a miracle happened that the day before, the Germans killed 40 prisoners. They needed replacement. So they asked for professional, anybody among us are professionals or tradespeople. My brother was a pharmacist. He grabbed my hand. He went over to the Gestapo. He told them that he's a pharmacist, I am his assistant. So the German officer gave it okay. So my brother gave me the first chance of life. The next day, I came with two sisters with a niece. Even my 7-year-old niece knew that she's going to die when she came to me to hug me. And they said goodbye, and they went to the crematoriums. My brother told me that he met a prisoner from my town, from Izbica. He told my brother that he cut the hair of my sisters. And when the last words of my sister was to him, she recognized him. She asked him how long will take the gas to kill us. He couldn't say a word to her because he was around the Gestapo guards. So I can imagine how my sister was suffering, and I still remember that episode.
Was she your younger sister?
I still remember about my landsman, what he told my brother. I was doing different kind of jobs. I had to help unload the people. They came from the transports. I describe a transport of 2,500 people from Holland. They came in passenger cars with all their belongings. They were not aware that Sobibor was an extermination camp. They even offered me a tip for my services with helping them with the baggage. My heart was bleeding, knowing the truth, but they did not know. I knew that in a half an hour they'd be reduced to ashes. I did other things, other jobs I performed, like sorting, like before sorting all the belongings. In any jewelry I find, I had to put it in a German safe. But I didn't want to help the German war machine. So I throw most of the jewels into the toilets, to the outhouse. I left at the outhouse and I throw out most of the valuables. But I'll describe you the transport when he came from Holland. The German officer gave a welcome speech to them. He apologized for the inconvenience in travel and for the fact that you cannot go to your living quarters to relax. Because of sanitary reasons, you must take a shower and be disinfected. But before you are undressed, I would strongly recommend that you should pick up the postcard which were prepared for you to send home to your dear ones in Holland, to assuring them of their health and well-being in Sobibor. To tell the story about Sobibor, I would have to be here a whole day. But I will describe to you about the organization, how we described, how we resisted, and how we made the revolt. The revolt at Sobibor will go in the annals in history as one of the biggest, most successful uprising in World War II, in scope, after the Warsaw Ghetto. Sobibor, the Germans suffered a humiliating defeat on the hands of untrained, ill-fed, and practically unarmed Jews. The conspiracy of the revolt, the head of the conspiracy was a rabbi's son. His name was Leon Feldhandler. There was 40 people were involved in the conspiracy. My brother and myself were in the conspiracy group. But the revolt was prepared, but they didn't have any military know-how how to execute the plan. So a miracle happened that a transport came with Russian Jewish POWs. And they took out 80 people to help us in the camp. So this was the Germans' biggest mistake they made. We were lacking people in the art of warfare. And those people would help us execute the plan. So the leader, Leon Feldhandler of the conspiracy, got in touch with a lieutenant. His name was Sasha Pichowski, and he became the military leader. And they formed groups of 3. And I was one of the messengers to call in the Germans to the places that we find very valuable items for them to come in to try it on. When they came in to try down the leather coats or boots, they with axes, 3 people with axes and knife, they killed the German officers. When I saw a German went into the warehouse to be killed, I was eager to find out what happened to him. I waited a few minutes. When I went inside, I saw the German laying on the floor, covered in blood, and the three people, but the conspirators, were hiding him behind the clothing. I felt a rush of happiness. I said to myself, this is for my family, for the 250,000 Jews who perished on Sobibor. Whatever happened, we took vengeance. Then, on the appeal, we were standing all in the appeal, and the leader was on a table, standing on a table, and they made an announcement to us. They said, "Brothers, the minute of history has come. Most of the German officers are killed. Let's rise and destroy this place. we have little chance of survival, but at least we will die fighting with honor. If by chance somebody should survive, bear witness, tell the world about this place. So here I am, Sasha, a living witness to both the horror and triumph of history. I dedicated the rest of my life to tell the story about Sobibor, about the forest hidden from the conscience of the world. And my mission is now to go all over the globe, and special to the young generation, to tell this story about the fighting spirit of the Jewish people. But in Sobibor, we didn't only fight for ourselves, we fought for a better day, for a better tomorrow, a day without hatred and a day without genocide. But the world did not learn the lesson of Sobibor. Everything is repeated itself even in the 21st century. Hundreds of thousands of people being killed in Africa because of religion. The Iranian government leaders are building atomic bomb for the same purpose like the Germans built crematoriums. So we have to be on guard to fight any manifestation of hatred and genocide all over the globe. And I hope my presentations in the universities and schools, because I tell the students that education is the way for a better world. Is the key to a better world. And the Jewish tradition teaches that the world is sustained by the bread of school children. So the new generation has to take over the torch of remembrance and to tell their children and grandchildren that they met Philip Bialowitz, one of the last survivors of Sobibor.
Can we back up a little bit? Can you tell me what year you were born?
Yeah?
The year you were born?
I was born in December 1925.
And how many languages did you speak at home? What language?
At home we spoke Yiddish, but I know, except Yiddish, I know Polish, German, and Russian a little bit. And the escape from Sobibor was not the end of my journey. I still have to struggle another year till I got liberated by the Russian army. Every day was a struggle to survive.
Can you tell me some experience you had after you escaped?
I was in the partisans, and also a Polish Catholic family took us in, and they risked their lives and their family's life. They kept us for 1 year till we were liberated by the Russian army. I made him Yad Vashem the medals of honor and plant a tree for him, for the family, and in Jerusalem. And I'm visiting him every year, and I'm helping him monetary, and they will always be remembered as heroes.
Yes.
Heroes that they saved our lives.
Can you tell me of some experience that you had before you were liberated by the Russians, when you escaped and you lived with this Polish family? Were you threatened, or did you observe some of the killings in Sobibor, killings of some of the people?
And Sobibor was like a killing machine, you know. Every few days they brought transport, and in a half an hour they were gassed and reduced to ashes. Also, one of my jobs was to cut the hair of the woman. And from the woman from Holland, they asked me not to cut the hair too short. They were only a few meters away from the gas chambers. They still did not realize that this is their last destination. But I also knew that mine days are numbered. That we are going to be killed. But we wanted that somebody should escape to tell the world about Sobibor, because Sobibor was a top secret camp. It was the only barbed wire with guard towers, and this was the only camp mined all around. When a mine exploded during the night, the animals stopped on it. They took us out in the middle of the night to count us like diamonds, because they didn't want anybody should escape from Sobibor. Sobibor was a top secret camp.
Were you ever involved in any of the shootings? Some of the shootings where the Germans would shoot?
My job was a messenger. I called in the Germans. I was one of the youngest. I called in the Germans to try on boots and leather coats. And that's the way they were eliminated. One by one. We killed 11 Gestapo and a few Ukrainian.
You mentioned off camera that you were in line when they machine gunned a number of Jews and that you fell into the grave. Can you tell me that story?
We were 600 slave laborers in the camp. But Sobibor was not a concentration camp. Sobibor was a death camp. And Sobibor we didn't put numbers on our arms, because we only lived 15 minutes, half an hour to half an hour. And next 2.5 months ago was the 70th anniversary of two important.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Did you have any close calls while you were in?
Two important heroic chapters in the Jewish history: the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and the Revolt of Sobibor. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and the Revolt of Sobibor stands as a symbol of all the places where Jews fought for their life and their dignity. Here I am, one of the last survivors, to tell the story about the heroic fighters of Sobibor, fighting spirit of the Jewish people. So my mission is, I'm invited to all over the globe. I spoke in the Bundestag. They invited me to Berlin. I spoke in Dublin, Ireland. I spoke in Paris. And my presentation are well received, and I hope that I especially the young people, and all the people want to shake my hand like I would be holy, you know, and I hope that God will give me the strength to go on and continue to tell the story about the fighting spirit of the Jewish people. the world is still profoundly broken, and we need people like me to go around, because we have a lot of deniers about the Holocaust. I'm a living witness to both the horror and triumph of history. And I go to Sobibor every year to pay respect to the 250,000 people who died. And I was honored last year for the President of Poland with the highest medal. And this medal, I said in my speech, that this medal represents not only myself. This medal is for the 250,000 people who died so tragically in the gas chambers, and also for the 400 people who were killed on the mines by escaping Sobibor. So I'm being received by the Pope, by presidents, by queens. You know, everybody wants to hear my inspirational story.
I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about two things. If we could back up a little bit about your experience in the camp where you were lined up when they were firing on a group that you were in, and that you fell into with some bodies.
The escape from Sobibor was like a regular front, like Stalingrad. The machine guns in the explosion of the mines, you couldn't see nothing, you know. But we didn't have anything to lose. It's better to die by bullets than die by gas. So we were running, and so maybe we didn't think that over 200 people will escape. We wanted only 2-3 people to escape, because it was impossible to go through all the barbed wires and the machine guns in the mines. So, but we were very lucky that over 200 escaped from Sobibor. But only 48 survived after the war, because of the circumstances in Poland. Poland was not a place where you could survive. It was very difficult to survive. Even when you escaped from a transport, there was no way to go. It was not like in the Scandinavian countries, where they helped the Jews. They transported them by boat to Switzerland, to Sweden. In Poland, it was very difficult to survive because of the environment. Because many Poles, they collaborated with the Germans, and in many of them were standing as bystanders, you know. So it was not so easy to survive in Poland. But I'm survived to tell the unbelievable story, and I hope my story will have an impact on the young people, and they will take over the torch of remembrance, and to tell their families, their children, grandchildren, that met Philip Bialowitz.
Can you tell me a little about your when you got married and your own children, and how you came to America?
Mine vengeance is also that I built a new family. I got married in 1958. I have 5 children. I have 15 grandchildren and 4 great-great-children. And this is the vengeance against the Germans.
What was your occupation when you came to America?
Mine occupation?
Your occupation? Yes.
I was studying in Germany to be a dentist. But when I came to America, I was living in Columbus, Ohio. My plan was not to go to America. My plan was to go to Palestine. Was not Israeli. They were still fighting. So my brother was the head of a DP camp in Germany, and he went before me. I had to finish some dental work. He went to, and they took him right to the army. He sent me a letter. I should not come. I should go to America in order to preserve the name Bialowitz. Because if I come, they'll take me right away to the army. We both will get killed. It will be no name, Bialowitz. The whole family of 100 people perished during the war. So I went to America, and I went to Columbus, Ohio. They wouldn't accept the credit what I have in Germany. I didn't have the money. I didn't know the language, so I switched to jewelry. I was working as a jeweler in New York, and then I went to business for myself, and my children were educated. My son had 4 universities: Stanford University, Columbia, Oxford, and Amsterdam. And I stopped him. I said, you want to be a professional student? And my daughter was working for NBC television production. Now she married an Israeli. She's producing children. I have 12 grandchildren from one daughter. I instill in my children all the suffering and what I went through, so there be a continuity. That's my son, sometimes in California, he goes with me to speak as a second-generation survivor. How we should remember not only how they died, how they lived, the contribution they could give to the world if they would be alive in medicine and in other fields. So this is also a vengeance against the Germans.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think I gave you another $5,000 interview, or $10,000 interview.
You did good.
Huh? But you have to work it out, you know.
Please tell. It's okay. You're on.
I'll describe to you an episode from Izbica in the ghetto. They caught me. The Germans took me with another group of people, and they took us up to the cemetery, and they machine gunned us. And when they started to shoot, I fell down, make believe that I am dead, and dying people fell on top of me. And I made myself a room to breathe. And after it was in the evening, they didn't cover us right away. They wanted to come back the next day to get the jewelry and the gold teeth. So I managed to get out at night.
Was this in the winter?
This was in Izbica, in the ghetto.
Was it in a cold, or was it in winter time?
It was, yeah, it was a winter time. And I went down from the cemetery, blooded like from a slaughterhouse. And I managed to change my clothing, took on a dress. And I washed myself, and I went back to the hiding place to my family. This is one episode. The other episode I'll tell you from Sobibo. A transport came from Bialystok. And the transport, on the way to Sobibo, they made an attempt to escape from the train, so they put fluoride, and little by little the people died, and many of them were deranged mentally. When they arrived, they took me and another few boys to help to unload the dead people. When they opened the wagon, I saw a scenery. I got shocked. People were weighing a few hundred pounds, decomposed. And they told me to take out the bodies. When I took out one woman with the body, the skin remained in my hand. I couldn't take it, and I said to myself, here, I want to die. I'm going to die here anyhow, so I cannot go through that episode. I lay down and I wanted the German should shoot me. But he came over, he beat me up, and he told me to go back to work. So this episode, I still have nightmares till today. Yes.